Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. UFC Vegas 76, Sean Strickland versus Abus Magomedov just ended, and this is going to be my post-fight for the main event. Sean Strickland gets it done via second round TKO over Abus Magomedov and literally melted him in the second round. What a performance from Sean Strickland to take an unranked contender who looks very good but relatively unproven and face some adversity in the first round and get it done via TKO in the second round. Super impressive. And it kind of stakes a claim for Sean Strickland, even though this guy was unranked, kind of stakes a claim for Strickland at a potential title shot at UFC 293 against Israel Adesanya. We're going to talk about that later in the video. But this fight played out, and it pretty much had it all. Because in the first round, Abus Magomedov came out and looked very impressive on the feet. And 20 seconds in, Abus Magomedov landed some good teep kicks to the body, landed some good leg kicks, landed upstairs. And then there's an eye poke by Abus. Sean Strickland's pumping the jab. Abus kind of measuring distance with his hand outstretched, with his fingers out, and grazes the eye of Sean Strickland. And it looked for a second, this fight isn't going to continue. I was devastated. I was like, no. Sean Strickland's telling the ref, my vision's blurry, and he's wiping his eye, over and over and over again. And 1 minute turns into 2 minutes. 2 minutes turns into 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes turns into 3 minutes. And then finally Strickland says, let's go. And he said in the post-fight, his eye was still blurry. His vision was still blurry after the fight. So maybe he shouldn't have continued, but look what he did continue. And look, he got the finish, which is crazy. And in that first round, I thought, oh no, we're due for some serious controversy here. Because Abus Magomedov was looking incredible in the first round. He was landing nonstop teep kicks to the body. He was landing punches to the body. He was landing hard punches upstairs. And he was just chopping the legs of Sean Strickland. He was literally kicking Sean Strickland's legs like he was attempting to kick a soccer ball as hard as he could. And he was really just brutalizing Sean Strickland on the feet in the first round. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. But I thought he already ruined the performance because the eye poke, now we're going to have controversy. If he wins, if he gets a finish, especially in the first or second round, it's going to be all about the eye poke afterwards. And it was just going to ruin the entire main event. And basically, we were going to have an asterisk next to the performance. That was my thought process. In the first round, he looked very good, even mixed in the grappling towards the end of the first round, took Sean Strickland down, almost got his back for a second. Sean Strickland scrambled back to his feet. And then towards the end of the first round, even landed a heavy head kick on Sean Strickland. So after that first round, all really Sean Strickland landed was a couple hard jabs, which he typically does, but Abus was looking incredible. He was looking dynamic on the feet. The kicks were fast. The kicks were hard. He was throwing with a lot of power. And I did know going into this fight, look, Abus is very good on the feet. He's a very well-rounded fighter. But what about his cardio? Because Sean Strickland is a guy that never stops moving forward and never gets tired. He fought Nasruddin Imavov on a couple weeks' notice, had better cardio than Nasruddin Imavov, and beat him via decision. And in the second round, going into the second round, I was very confident. I felt good about my Abus Magomedov pick. And Sean Strickland just starts to plot forward. Abus just slowly starting to wear down. And then Sean Strickland lands a big right hand, hurts Abus. Abus just starts to kind of scramble and just basically run away from Sean Strickland. Strickland would track him down, back him up against the fence, land combinations. Abus would throw like one shot back, one heavy shot back, and then just start moving away. He was turning his back and running. And like 2 minutes in, maybe a minute and a half into the second round, I said Abus Magomedov's done. He's going to get finished because Sean Strickland's not going to get tired. So even if Abus Magomedov survives the second round, he's going to get finished in the third or fourth or fifth round. I mean, I didn't think he was making it to the fifth. I thought he was going to get finished in the second or third, about a minute, minute and a half into the second round. But I still thought maybe he's just still hurt because he got clipped with a big right hand in that second round. I thought, okay, maybe he's just still hurt. We see fighters get hurt and then they look like they're exhausted, but they're really not. And then they get to the stool and maybe they get a second win. But it wasn't looking good. The body language wasn't looking good. He was constantly staring up at the clock, and Sean's just walking him down and just putting combinations on him up against the fence. And Abus is still looking away. He's turning his back and running. He's only throwing like 1 or 2 shots at a time, trying to survive. He landed like a hard body shot like midway through the second round. But eventually, he's like looking away from Sean Strickland. He looks back. He gets dropped by a jab. It wasn't even like a super hard shot from Sean Strickland. He lands a right jab. I went back and rewatched it in slow-mo. Drops him. And basically, he was just melted by the pressure of Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland then just beats him up on the ground. There's no resistance from Abus Magomedov. And Sean Strickland gets a second round TKO via ground and pound. And honestly, Abus Magomedov, I know people throw this word around a lot, and I use it a little bit myself. Abus Magomedov was exposed tonight. He was exposed because how are you going to come into a 5-round main event and have 1 round of cardio? And I know people are going to excuse it away. Oh, he was throwing a lot of big shots in the first round. It's not like it was the craziest pace ever. There's no way he should have gassed from the output he had in the first round. He had a good output, but it wasn't enough to be that exhausted in the second round. That is crazy to me. He literally had Braxton Smith level of cardio. He had Alexander Romanov from his previous fight against Alexander Volkov. He had that level of cardio in this fight. And I know a lot of people were saying going into this fight, why is Abus getting a shot against a top 10 ranked guy? And, this doesn't make any sense. The UFC was trying to get some fresh contenders for the middleweight division because the middleweight division is currently kind of dead. And now Sean Strickland exposed him badly. Abus Magomedov, honestly, he might be on the chopping block after this performance. How do you have that level of cardio? I just can't. At the highest level, I just don't know how you have that level of cardio where you're gassing out. It's a 25-minute fight. You're gassing out in the 6th minute, in the 7th minute. I don't get it. That was never going to work out against a guy like Sean Strickland because Sean Strickland can go for 10 rounds. Sean Strickland can continue to move forward, pumping the jab, and, just walk you down, and he's never going to get tired. And in this fight, that's exactly what he did. He faced some adversity early. He was dealing with heavy shots from Abus Magomedov. He even said one of the teep kicks to the body really took his breath away. And they were heavy shots. Sean Strickland's body was red as could be. Abus was chopping the legs heavily in that first round. And then he just got tired and gassed out. And I know people are going to think maybe, oh, you're making excuses for Abus or you're trying to delegitimize Sean Strickland's win. No, one of the most important factors in MMA is your cardio. If you can't survive, if you can't fight for long periods of time, well, you better get finishes. And that's what he did in his UFC debut against Dustin Solfus. But you're not guaranteed to get a first-round finish against Sean Strickland. And you don't have any there's no backup plan? Are you training at all? Honestly, I don't know if he's training at all. Abus Magomedov's cardio coach or strength and conditioning coach must be the same guy training Juliana Pena's striking. That's how bad his cardio was in this fight. He should be embarrassed. There better be an excuse. I usually don't like hearing excuses after fights. There better be an excuse. He better have some reasoning because that cardio is absolutely unacceptable. And I know he's been inactive over the past few years, but that cardio is unacceptable at the highest level. You were getting a massive opportunity. If he beats Sean Strickland tonight, he could fight for a title in the next fight or 2. That's the way the middleweight division is kind of laid out right now. It's just waiting for someone to take a grasp of a title shot because there's no real true clear-cut contender. And you show up with 5 minutes of cardio? Unacceptable, inexcusable, but there better be a good excuse because, to be gassed out that quickly. And Sean, I know he rocked him early in the second round, but he was already the body language was already starting to tell the tale. I noticed it a little bit at the end of the first round, like, okay, he's still looking very good, but he's starting to slow down a bit. I could just tell it. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's just kind of conserving his energy. Some guys will conserve their energy early because they know they're going 5 rounds. And no, that was not the case. He just had Braxton Smith levels of cardio. So Abus Magomedov embarrassed himself tonight, in my opinion. He could have fought a valiant fight. The first round he looked incredible. Could have fought a valiant fight, but for whatever reason, he does not have cardio at all. Sean Strickland gets it done. Sean Strickland, honestly, I've talked about him for a while, and I've said, look, the striking, he plots forward, and he's kind of open to really good strikers to get clipped and get KO'd, similar to Alex Pereira. And I picked Alex Pereira to knock him out. And I've picked Sean Strickland fights very good. I talked about it going into this fight. In the last 4 fights, I've picked all 4 of them correct for Sean Strickland. Unfortunately for this fight, I got it wrong. I picked Abus. I took a chance on Abus. I just thought the striking was so dynamic, he would be able to find those shots on Sean Strickland as he plots forward, limited footwork, limited head movement. And I thought he'd be able to take advantage of him and find a finish. But Sean Strickland is just a recipe to expose certain guys. If you don't have cardio, you're going to get exposed by Sean Strickland. If you're not able to find a finish and have nuclear power, Sean Strickland's probably going to expose you. Because even though he is very hittable, he does roll with the shots well, and he did that well in this Abus fight as well. For him to weather that early storm where Abus is looking incredible, throwing head kicks, but he's kind of rolling away from it. Even the leg kicks, he started to kind of check them a little bit, or at least get his leg up where he wasn't absorbing the full brunt of the leg kick. He looked like he was making adjustments in there. And he made those adjustments, he weathered that storm, and then he just continued to walk down Abus Magomedov and got a second round TKO. And Sean Strickland, just put on a very good performance at an optimal time in the middleweight division, because Israel Adesanya is supposedly headlining UFC 293 in early September. Well, who's going to fight him in early September? That's not that far away. It's crazy. Early September is only 2 months away. Where is the time going? But Dana White has said, oh, it's going to be the winner of Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis, who fights at UFC 290. Well, there's no guarantee the winner of Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis, which most likely will be Robert Whittaker, there's no guarantee they come out unscathed. Robert Whittaker is known for being injured quite often. And even that, there's no guarantee the winner of that fight, especially if it's Robert Whittaker, is going to want to take it on a, 7-8 week turnaround and take that title shot on that quick of a turnaround. That's not optimal circumstances. So guess what? If the UFC needs an opponent, you look at the rest of the division, who hasn't fought Israel Adesanya yet? Sean Strickland hasn't fought Israel Adesanya yet. And Sean Strickland, outside of getting KO'd by Alex Pereira, I think that's his only loss in the middleweight division. Or he lost to Jared Cannonier, but that was a razor close fight. So even that, which was 2 fights ago at this point, he beat Nasruddin Imavov, he beat Abus Magomedov. You know, he fought Jared Cannonier last December. How was that half a year ago already? Over half a year ago, basically. But he lost to Jared Cannonier, but that was a razor close 50-50 fight. So right now, I truly believe you can justify a Sean Strickland middleweight title shot. Because outside of that, if Robert Whittaker, let's say Robert Whittaker wins against Dricus du Plessis, he can't make the quick turnaround. Who else are you giving it to? Marvin Vettori just got CTE from Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier wants a title shot, but I doubt he's going to get it. You know, he just fought Israel Adesanya last year, and it wasn't a very aesthetically pleasing, exciting fight. So I doubt that happens. Paulo Costa, I'm not even sure Paulo Costa is ever fighting for the UFC again. I know he's supposed to fight at UFC 291 against Ikram Aliskerov. I do not believe that's happening. Dricus du Plessis, obviously, if he wins, he will fight Israel Adesanya in September. But let's be honest, what are the chances he beats Robert Whittaker? I mean, Robert Whittaker's going to have to slip on a banana peel. So then you have number 7, Sean Strickland. Number 8, Derek Brunson, who's retired, and who wants to see that anyway? Number 9, Roman Dolidze, he's just coming off a loss. So Sean Strickland, if Robert Whittaker or Dricus du Plessis cannot go, you do have a wild card in Khamzat Chimaev who could take that fight. But outside of that, it's going to be Sean Strickland. And Sean Strickland will definitely take that fight. There is no doubt about it. And I know a lot of people are going to say, you know, oh, Strickland, you know, does he really have a chance? And I'm thinking that myself as well. I'm not super interested in that fight. But there's no guaranteed number 1 contender right now. You know, there's nobody that just jumps off the page that deserves a title shot right now. So it's not like Sean Strickland will be jumping over anyone to get that title shot. And he didn't just win, he won by finish, and he looked impressive. You know, if Sean Strickland came out there and had one of those patented Sean Strickland jab to a decision win performances, then maybe we're not talking about this as much. But after getting a win like that, I think the chances are much higher that he's able to get that Israel Adesanya fight. He wants that Israel Adesanya fight, and he's a fresh contender for Israel Adesanya. Now, let's talk about competitiveness. I think Israel Adesanya is going to easily win that fight, but you never know. Every champion has their day where they lose their belt. So you never know in MMA. I don't think it's highly competitive, but at some point, you have to have someone fight for the belt. So why not Sean Strickland, who's coming off a win? You know, he took a fight. He did the UFC a favor. He's in favor with the UFC right now. He took a short notice fight against Nasruddin Imavov, and then he took an unranked contender in Abus Magomedov. A lot of people don't want to take that risk, and I have to respect Sean Strickland for that, because there's so many guys in divisions who were gatekeeping their rankings. And I don't even believe in the rankings, because you have a bunch of clowns anonymously just making the UFC rankings. And a lot of fighters use the number next to their name as an excuse not to fight upcoming talent. And it drives me nuts. But Sean Strickland is not one of those guys. He does the UFC favors. He's willing to step in on short notice. He's willing to fight up-and-coming guys who are unranked. And it would not surprise me, do not be surprised, if the UFC 293 main event is Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland, because unless they have Khamzat Chimaev step in, which I doubt it, Khamzat Chimaev's in witness protection, hanging out with, you know, the warlord over in Chechnya, I don't think that's going to happen. So the only option, if Robert Whittaker or Dricus du Plessis can't go, will be Sean Strickland. And I think there's a good percentage chance it happens, okay? And Sean Strickland, he got an impressive performance tonight. He was able to get a finish. And, you know, I didn't expect this. I picked Abus Magomedov. I picked him by finish, and I know a lot of people were kind of laughing at that. But I thought, you know, this guy's a very dynamic striker. And Sean Strickland kind of just plots forward. And I thought Abus could catch him on the chin, and I thought he could look very good in the striking. He did in the first round. But unfortunately, the gas tank was not there. And honestly, that gas tank is not UFC level at all. There better be a very good excuse for it. But let me know what you guys thought about the main event down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching.